Fans will always remember what he did for that 2016 World Series champion team, but now Schwarber is no longer a member of the Cubs as he signs a one-year, $10 million deal with the Washington Nationals. Those are his numbers in 6 seasons with the Cubs. Yes, only at 230, but he does have power, a 113 OPS plus, and you see the 5.4 WAR overall. You think of the Nationals outfield, yes, it's Juan Soto, then it's Victor Robles, Andrew Stevenson, Josh Harrison. This is interesting, though, Joel. This is the offseason of the one-year deal. Okay, that's not a surprise there, but for the Nationals, they can't invest big money, but they've got a lot of big money already sewn up with a bunch of their pitchers, obviously, Strasburg, Scherzer. What do you make of the deal overall?
Yeah, I think of it as Scherzer is under control for one more year. You don't know how many healthy years you get from Strasburg, from Corbin. You're going to take some shot here to improve your lineup around what I think is already the best hitter in the sport in Juan Soto. Let's remember that over the previous 2 years, they lost Bryce Harper and Anthony Rendon. And, they never really replaced them. Now, does Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber replace those guys? Certainly not on the defensive end, where Rendon especially was a great player. But I would say, as recently as 2019, Schwarber's 2019 looks almost offensively identical to Bryce Harper's.
Wow.
So the question is, can you do that? Like, I feel like Schwarber is a guy. I don't know enough about the swing. I don't want to pretend I do, but it feels like he was a guy who had a chance to be a great hitter and became a great, like Gary Sanchez here, a launch angle guy, and stopped being a good hitter. Like Gary Sanchez and Schwarber, there was a moment where we thought they're not only power hitters, they're going to be good hitters. I think there's still a really good hitter in Schwarber, and even if he just goes back to 2019, there is some protection in offense around Soto.
And I think that's the key. When I look at Schwarber, I think it might be a blessing in disguise. So many voices while he was in a Cubs uniform on how to hit, how not to hit to the opposite field, to pull, play against lefties or not, look for the breaking ball or not, and then worry about playing left field too. I think a lot of that pressure is going to be taken off. I think he's going to have a big year. It is really to protect two players, Soto and one of the best players in all of baseball that no one talks about, Trey Turner. If you look at his OPS last year, it's as good as anyone in the game. He had a fantastic season and should have got a lot more votes for MVPs and other things like that. But those two players have to be protected. Bell and Schwarber do that.
You know, and can I have one other thing is, there's at least now an avenue to them being an above-average offensive team, starting with the fact that we know they have two of the best offensive players in the sport. They've added Bell and Schwarber. Do you believe what you saw out of Andrew Stevenson last year? He was really good, especially late in the year. And do they ever get the offense? Like, the worry as a prospect, when he was considered one of the best prospects for Carter Kieboom, was defense. They always thought he would hit. He just has not hit in the majors. If you still think he could hit in the majors, there's an avenue for them. They're going to have trouble on defense, especially if there's not a DH.
Yeah.
But there is an avenue for them to be a good offensive team now.
That's what I was going to say. There's certain guys like Schwarber, like Marcelo Zunarani, they say, God, I hope there's a DH. It would help certain guys like that. But maybe those guys hear that and, you know what, I'm not here for my defense anyways, right? I think if you're a manager or a player, to your point, too many voices. Hey, you're here to hit. We know you can hit. Don't worry about your, zone rating and all that kind of stuff. Just do what we need you to do.
Yeah, maybe one of the great things that Washington could do when they get him in spring training, whenever that happens, would be to not even mention his defense. Just get him out there and work. We're going to do this every day. We're going to work hard. I know he's a hard worker. That's not a problem. And like you said, you're here to mash.